Kelly Curtis, express yourself. Express yourself. Kelly Curtis.
Recently, I was speaking to a friend of mine from Japan. He came to me and he was confused. You see, he was speaking to another friend of ours, and they were talking about raising children. And this other friend said something he just couldn't get his mind around. And what he said was this. He said, a hard head makes for a soft behind. Now, I had heard of this before, so I tried to explain this to my friend, but he just wasn't getting it at all. So it made me think, there must be dozens of things that we say every day, all the time, that make no sense whatsoever. Fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Today, I want to take a closer look at this thing that we do with words. I find it fascinating. The phrases, metaphors that we use all the time, and mostly without even thinking about them. Years ago, I lived in Texas. And if you live in Texas and happen to come across a small amount of money, somebody's probably going to tell you, hey, better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Which is confusing, because I can think of a whole lot of other things that fit that list. Now, the queen of confusing phrases was my mother. And growing up, when we were little, for instance, if there was a kid that didn't want to play with us, she would say, hey, you know, one monkey don't make no show. And it would confuse me, and it would confuse more my little brother. He's like, is there a monkey loose? But every day we use these kinds of phrases. Some of you guys will recognize them. Like, let's see, aren't you a sight for sore eyes, right? Or the early bird gets the worm, right? Or that Obamacare has cost me an arm and a leg. We all know them. But we use animals a lot as well, especially when describing each other. Like, she's busy as a bee, or he's strong as an ox. Blind as a bat, clever as a fox. And when we really get excited, we get religious. We say things like, holy cow. Or good Lord. Or my favorite, sweet Jesus. And then there's the nonverbal, things that we say to each other without saying a word. You guys know some of them. Everybody knows this, right? Which means, I'm okay, or good job. Now, if you're at the free clinic and the doctor comes out and does this, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because he could come out and do this. Which means you might live, or you might have the Ebola virus. We don't know. You might want to go see a real doctor when you leave here. But there are certain scenarios that we're in, and I'm still lost for words when I hear them. The other day, I heard someone say, well, Susan, you might as well tell her now, the cat's out of the bag. See, why was the cat in the bag? See, no one's asking the right questions. Or someone will say, yeah, he took off like a bat out of hell. See, I bet you didn't know, hell had bats. That's right. Part of a delicate ecosystem down there. So you don't know about that. It's in the Bible. 3 Corinthians, chapter 8, for hell. Or here's another one. I ran into Bob at the bar last night, and boy, he was drunk as a skunk. Well, that one's pretty obvious. I mean, everyone knows how liquored up these skunks like to get. It's no secret. And I feel as Americans, we're a little arrogant because we'll make up words and use them in normal conversation. We're all guilty of it. I'll prove it. Has anyone in here ever dilly-dally? Been wishy-washy? Some of you on the way here. Had the heebie-jeebies. That's right, people, I rest my case. It's not real words. Okay, I'm guilty of it too. That's right, I've used made-up words. I'm not proud of it. I have. True story. I was driving in downtown Los Angeles, and I get a text message. So I'll pull over. And I pull over into a no parking zone. So I'm on the phone, and I see someone coming in the distance. Now, as she gets closer, I see, okay, she has a belt, there's a badge, she has one of those flip things. She's one of those people that hand out tickets. What do you call them? What? Al-Qaeda. Or ISIS. One or two. Anyway, as she gets closer, we make eye contact. So I'm thinking she's going to say, okay, sir, move her along. But no, instead, without saying a word, she walks up, pulls the ticket off, puts it on my window, and keeps walking. And I was like, are you kidding? And out of sheer reflex, I yelled out, Jiminy Christmas! Jiminy Christmas. Now, before that moment, I had never said those words before in my life. I don't know where it came from. It was deep inside. It came out. So I get back on the phone. The person I'm talking to is there laughing. He says, you just say Jiminy Christmas? So I don't even know if that's a word. So I get defensive. I was like, yes, it is. It is a word. They say, oh, I don't think so. I said, yes, it is. She said, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. Shut up, Mom. And I hung up on her. But right now, I think it's time that we wrap this thing up, nip this thing in the bud. But before I go, I know you have a lot on your plate, so I'm going to leave you with some food for thought. Here it is. In life, you should always put your best foot forward, grab the bull by the horns, and whatever you do, don't beat around the bush. And for goodness sakes, for Christ's sake, and yes, for Pete's sake, always remember to express yourself. I have a concept for it.